All right, I did this drawing earlier. I wanted to do a real quick video about the product development process. This is my opinion. All this is my opinion, so take what you find useful. And I'm going to call out resources and tools and just various things that I have found useful as I've developed products. So I'm 63 years old. I've worked for, my name's Christy Haas. I've worked for a bunch of companies around the Cleveland, Ohio area, and done product development for companies, and then I've done some stuff on my own as well. I make the battery box for the Zendrum. You can look up Zendrum battery box. That's one of the things that I make kind of on the side, and I'm going to release some other products. But anyways, I did this really quick drawing. I thought it was kind of fun. I like drawing on big sheets of paper or whiteboards. So I'm going to run through this. Just my opinion. I'm going to call out stuff that I find useful as I develop products. So anyways, this is today, January 27th, 2026. So anyways, it starts with an idea, of course. So you have an idea for a product. Then you want to research it. You want to, just get books and materials. Of course, nowadays with the internet, you can do a ton of research right at home. So you look up as much information as you can, and then you maybe make some drawings of what you think the product might look like. That includes like mechanical drawings, and maybe some rough schematics or electrical drawings. Mechanical drawings could actually encompass a lot. They could encompass the enclosure and the overlay, which is like the thing that labels everything on your product. So, and then you kind of define the features. You figure out how you want this thing to work, and if you don't have parts already, you gather parts. I get parts from a lot of different places. Online. There's a place here in Cleveland, Electronic Surplus, that still is open. You can look them up, and they sell parts. And it's unfortunate, but as of today, January 2026, there's places I used to buy parts from that are no longer in business. I'll mention them. Marlin Jones is one. All Electronics. It's another one. American Science and Surplus. I think they still have stores in Chicago, but I bought parts from all those places. And then there's another one, Electronic Gold Mine, which is still in business. So anyways, you can gather parts there. I also buy stuff at this local place, HGR. It's in Cleveland. You can look up my video on HGR about that. Okay, then you design a schematic either by hand or on a computer. I've used different kinds of software over the years. There's a lot of free software, KiCad or KiCad's available, and maybe you design the PCB as well. You design the enclosure, you figure out what the thing's going to look like. Firmware development, if it's got a microcontroller, then you're going to have to write some code for that. I'm old-fashioned. I still write code in assembly language, which people think is crazy. I've done some stuff with Arduinos, so that's writing in C, but I still like assembly. And then you fabricate some prototypes. You can make them with basic hand tools. I have a drill press. I have a drill press and an arbor press. Those are about the only tools I have mechanically. Although I do have access, I'm going to mention ThinkBox at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. It's a makerspace. It's got an amazing amount of resources. If any of you are local to Cleveland, check it out. Open to the public too. And then you kind of, fabricate prototypes. Yeah, and then you test and refine them. Work out all the bugs. You finalize the design. You maybe make some test fixtures or things to help in testing when you're, when you're done. One thing I like to do is write a diagnostic program that talks to a serial port, and basically is like a menu-driven program that exercises all the different hardware I/O. I'll probably do a video about that, but I've done that for a lot of products. It's been very useful. The first thing I do when I'm working on a product is I write a really simple serial monitor program that gives me a basic menu and lets me exercise all the different hardware functions, and I can do a lot of testing that way. You want to write the user manual and do all the documentation, which is critical. That's important. Create a bill of materials, figure out what your final list of parts is going to be, and then you order your parts for production run. Nowadays, you can build stuff in small quantities. When I started engineering back in 1988, you had to, pay a fair amount of money for circuit boards, and it was a lot more risky to develop products. I think right now it's so much easier and so much lower risk and lower cost. So you can order parts. You can make a small batch of products. You build the units, you test them, you package them for shipping. Hopefully you got some sales and marketing. This is something I'm going to mention. This you can do nowadays. You can do videos on YouTube. I'm doing that myself, and you can really advertise by basically just for free on YouTube. You used to have to mail out, do press releases to trade journals and all kinds of paid advertising. Now it's pretty much you can do that for free, and then hopefully you get some sales, and then you celebrate by going to the beach because I live in Cleveland and we live by Lake Erie. So anyways, that is just my opinion on product development. And as a side note, I bought these at a thrift store. 2 awesome books, Whole Earth Catalog, Whole Earth Epilogue. Great books on a list of books that are useful resources. So these were put out in the 70s. So of course nowadays you got the internet. So, and I'm going to give an example exactly of where this has led. So I'm going to walk over here, and I have 2 products that I've kind of developed in this manner. So this is a set of MIDI pedals, basically 1 octave of keys. And I talk about this more in my video on YouTube. The HGR interview. So this was like the Rev 1 prototype, basically a 1 octave of notes that you can play with your feet. And then this is the more refined version right here that's going to eventually be available for sale. So this thing, by the way, is a tachometer for cars. You can find this on Jags. I did the firmware for this. Uses the PIC 16F685, I think. Microcontroller. Did all the code for this in assembly. Did all the code for that in assembly. It's got an 8051 in it. So what else can I talk about? Oh, just real briefly while I'm on this rant. This was my senior project in college, 1987. Went to Case Western Reserve. This is a Z80 based microcontroller board, microprocessor board. I got to mention. This came from Circuit Seller, which was a magazine. Steve CRC, I think, was the editor. So he did a design for a Z80 computer, and this is kind of his design. So I made this board. It was for a programmable drum machine. Unfortunately, I kind of took parts out of this. I didn't keep it all in functional condition. I kind of wish I would have. This was the keypad for it right here. Then I made also, a lot of these parts came from Electronic Surplus here in Cleveland. This was wire wrapped as well. So this was the control pad for that board. And then this thing right here is a circuit board design I did for a MIDI controller using a Motorola 6809. And this is the back of it right here. And I did this whole design with a software package called Board Maker. It was $99 or $100 back in I think 1992 or 93 or whatever. It was DOS based. So this is that board that I designed with that. And the board was made by, I sent the files to this place in Canada called AP Circuits. Unfortunately, they are no longer in business, but they were a great prototyping company. They made really high quality boards for a pretty reasonable price. So anyways, that's about it. Just wanted to shoot a real quick video while I had all this stuff out. Thanks for watching. Hope you find some useful information here. Bye.